Hey guys, welcome to Best Reads by Ashley, and today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite authors who writes a lot of young adult thriller novels that I find crazy suspenseful, and I truly enjoy them as an adult, not a young adult, because they flow really well. So stay tuned, and I'll see you in a few. Hey guys, it's Ashley with Best Reads by Ashley, and today I want to talk about my favorite thriller author. And no, it's not Stephen King. This is for young adults. I am someone who truly loves a good horror story, scary stories. I don't like gore though. I like mysteries and things like that as well, and shocking endings and twists and turns. And so these books really hit the mark for me because they're not crazy gory. They're really easy to follow and listen to and to read. And so to me, that makes them really good books for younger adults and for adults like myself. Okay, we're going to be talking about Natasha Preston, and Natasha Preston is an author who writes other books as well, but the ones that I have been introduced to are kind of a young adult thriller style. Kind of mysterious, surprise endings, twists and turns, and so forth. The latest one that I just finished is actually called The Twin. And I have to say that this one is probably my least favorite because I didn't like the ending because I didn't agree with it. But written-wise, amazing. Did not see the end coming. Kept me guessing literally until the last 2 chapters. So to me, this one was crazy shock value wise, really well written, loved it, but just because I didn't like the ending, because I kind of like happier endings, I wasn't a huge fan of the ending, but I would still give it 5 stars because of the way it was written. So this one is basically about 2 girls, they're twins. Their parents got divorced when they were younger, and one twin goes to live with her mom and the other twin stays to live with her dad in their original house. The twins kind of grow apart, and then eventually their mom ends up dying from an accident, but it's a little bit strange how she dies, but it's considered an accident. And the twin that was living with the mom comes to live with her dad and her twin sister, and it seems like she just wants to give up her old life and take over her sister's life, to the point where her sister is getting a little bit nervous and everyone thinks that she's blowing it way out of proportion. She goes back to her hometown and tries to figure out what her twin is hiding, and she unlocks a lot of secrets about this twin. But I will tell you that every time you're like, I finally got this figured out, you don't. So if you like that kind of stuff, very good book. I'm not going to tell you much more because it will destroy the ending for you, which, like I said, total 10-star shock factor. So that's The Twin. That's the latest one I've read. I have read 3 other books, and I don't have them on me right now, but I've read 3 others by Natasha Preston. The other most recent one I've read is called The Lake, because I like to read kind of scarier, summery books during the summertime. And The Lake is kind of, I don't know, it's kind of got a summer book feel, but a kind of a Jason feel as well. It's a summer camp. These 2 best friends go back to the camp that they had gone to when they were younger, and while they're there, something had happened when they were younger, and they never came back to this camp because they were terrified that someone would find out what they had done and how awful it was. And as they're there, they're doing all these summer things. There's all these crazy things that start happening. Different notes are being left, and stuff written on the cabins in blood, and you're next, and all this kind of stuff. And they're trying to figure out who knows their secret, because somebody seems to. And if somebody knows their secret, they're going to be outed pretty soon. There's some deaths that happen and so forth, but it's not crazy gory, because like I said, I don't like gory deaths and gory scenes. I think it's a little bit overkill, and to be honest, with my anxiety, it kind of gives me some nightmares. So I just kind of stay away. I used to be able to handle it, but the older I get, not so much. So The Lake is this super crazy, fast-paced roller coaster ride, especially towards the middle and the end of it. And then at the end, once again, you cannot believe how it ends up, and you're like, you cannot be serious. You cannot end this book like this. It's an ending, but it's like, holy cow. that one is one of my favorites that I've read out of the 4 that I've read of Natasha's. So loved it. I can't say much more about any of these books. I can only kind of give you a basic rundown, because if I give too much away, it destroys the ending, which I think the thing I like most about her writing isn't just the easy flow of it and how you're just kind of drawn in from the first chapter, but basically those twists and turns in the endings are shocking every time. I don't know how she comes up with it, but I wish I was more creative like that. Okay, there are 2 others that I've read, and both of them I read over a year ago, so I don't remember a ton of the details or even the shocking endings. I just remember they were shocking endings. One of them is called The Cabin. The basic rundown of The Cabin is there's a group of friends who want to spend a weekend away at a cabin, kind of a remote cabin, get away from it all kind of thing. And so they go to this cabin, they have a wild, crazy night, they wake up the next morning and 2 of their friends are dead. But there's no signs of forced entry. They cannot figure out how they were killed and what happened to them. So they kind of start suspecting each other. And one minute you believe this person did it, the next you think it's this person, then this person. And by the end, you're blown away when it all kind of comes out to be who it is. So I loved that one as well. And all 4 of these I would give 5 stars to, without a doubt. Loved them all, even though I said like the twin one I didn't love quite as much. The other one I read, who is also probably my top 2. So The Lake and this one, You Will Be Mine, are my top 2 out of the 4 I've read. You Will Be Mine was the first book of Natasha's I ever read, and it's pretty crazy. I actually read it around Valentine's Day, I think 2020, the year of 2020, the year of COVID. So this one is where this girl is trying to get over someone, and her and her friends go out for a weekend, and they go out, and while they're out, she starts to become stalked. Hi, Evie. Hold on, I'm almost done. Mom life. Okay, so this one girl the main character starts to feel like she's being stalked, and she's not really sure what's happening, and then her friends start dying off in weird ways, and they keep sending her love notes talking about how you will be mine and you're next and so forth, and she cannot figure out who it is, and she's trying to before they kill any more of her friends or herself. This one was great too, kept you guessing till the very end. You have no idea who it is, and at the end you're like, no freaking way, how did I miss that? So my top 2 so far are The Lake and You Will Be Mine. The next one for me was The Cabin, and the 4th best one was The Twin. All of them 5 stars, all of them amazing, shocking endings, but The Twin was my least favorite, like I said, just because the ending really kind of brought me down a little. But anyway, sorry about the lighting also, by the way. We're getting a massive thunderstorm, which I guess is probably great for, kind of sets the atmosphere for, we're talking about thriller books. So, hi, Evie. Okay, there are 4 other books that are on my TBR list that I would like to mention, but I have not read them yet. They are on my list, but I've heard great things about them, so I'm going to talk about those next. The Fear, The Lost, The Cellar, and Awake. Okay, so quick rundown of these just in case you're interested in them, and if you've read them, I would love for you to comment about which one's your favorite. The Fear is basically around this town, everyone starts posting about what their biggest fears are and so forth, and it seems like all in good fun until people start dying the way that their biggest fear was. The main character, I think her name is Izzy, starts realizing that there's something going on here, so she's trying to figure it out, and she's like on the case, and as she's on the case, she starts to realize it's hitting too close to home, and people closer to her are starting to die, and that she's probably next. So it brings her to her biggest nightmare, it said, which is obviously probably her biggest fear, whatever that happens to be. Like I said, I haven't read it, but it has great reviews, so that one's on my list. The Lost is the second one. The Lost is, this town has a lot of people, a lot of younger kids that are disappearing. People assume that they're runaways, troubled teens, the whole 9 yards. 2 girls decide that they're going to investigate because they don't quite believe that because someone closer to them has disappeared. And so they start to investigate, and as they're getting closer and closer to who they think might be responsible, they're captured. They are captured, and in this room, it's like one of those panic rooms or escape rooms or whatever. It's what it seems like. They have a test for each room to get out of them. And if they can make it out, they'll live. But if they won't, supposedly they're gonna die. So that one seems pretty interesting to me too. Might not be great for my anxiety, but that's okay. The Cellar is one that's been on my list for a while. I just haven't had a chance to read it yet. This one is actually a teacher's pick for grades 8 and up. I teach 8th grade English, so might be something I'm looking to put into my classroom library for kids that like the thriller kind of style. But this one is, there are 4 girls that have been captured and trapped in a cellar. So seems a little bit sad already, but these 4 girls are trying to find a way out, and before their time kind of runs out. The main girl is Summer, and then there are 3 other girls that this guy that's captured them calls his flowers. They're like Rose and Poppy and something else. So maybe Daisy. I don't know, but that one to me seems really compelling as well, and I think my students might actually like that one too. So I'm going to try to read that one soon and see if I want to put that on my shelf for this next year. And then the last one is called Awake. Awake seems pretty interesting to me too. This girl does not remember before the age of 4, and a car accident ends up changing that. She starts to have visions of what supposedly happened, and then she realizes that her parents hid her past, and when her parents hid part of her past, she realizes it's a dangerous past and it could lead to her death. So very interesting, very intriguing. So those are those 4. You've got The Fear, The Lost, The Cellar, and Awake. So check out those 4 also, and if you've read those, if you can comment which one was your favorite, because they're all on my list and I can't read them all so quickly. So hopefully I will get to read all of them soon. The 4 I've read: The Twin, The Lake, The Cabin, and You Will Be Mine. 4 of my favorite thriller books ever. So great for young adults and adults like me, and anybody who likes a good thriller, suspenseful ending, etc. So check those out. If you like this video, like it and subscribe, and comment below with your favorite Natasha Preston book if you have read her. All right, guys, thank you. See you next time.